and then Vivian will take the stage and share her stories with you.
Paranormal investigator and a spiritualist medium. I am from the UK and I'm happy to be here at the Crypted Conference. This is a little bit about me, explaining to you who I am and what I do. I'm first and foremost a spiritualist medium, and I'm going to tell you where it all began. I've been seeing ghosts and spirits since I was a young girl, and here was no different. I lived in a place called Bedford in Middlesex. This is St Mary's Church, where as a young child I used to see a little ghostly girl playing by those trees shaped as peacocks. Later to find out that that young girl was indeed a ghost, and her body lay buried underneath one of those trees. My late teens, what I was seeing and hearing was reaching a pinnacle, and I was taken to a spiritualist church, and basically I was told that I would have to learn to use it or lose it. I chose the option to use it and learn all about it, where it was at spiritualist church. They taught me how to work with my spirit guide, and through him I was taught what everything meant and was, and I went on to serve the churches in and around West London, giving demonstrations of mediumship and clairvoyance and trans-mediumship. But from there it went to helping people in their own homes with difficulties with spirits, and that's where my paranormal journey really began. Here is one of those houses where I went on to an extreme haunting case that lasted 2.5 years. I can't really go into much about that due to privacy agreements, but this is where my paranormal journey began. I set up my own ghost hunting group, and we went more scientific than anything else because that's what people were looking for, only using my mediumship where it was called for. This was quite interesting, and we did get quite a lot of good results. We did events, we did stately homes, we went everywhere, and we even did private investigations. This period in my life taught me a lot when it came to paranormal investigations. I went on to do a Paraforce UK, which was a conference. I've travelled all over the world looking at things like stone circles and stone circles of Avery. It's taken me to talking at conferences worldwide. I even got to go to Washington State, and I spoke at a conference there and met many great people in the field of cryptids and television personalities and all sorts of people. So it's been a fascinating time for me. Not only am I looking at ghosts, but I am now looking at the cryptid side of things as well. There's a picture of me with great Murphy, one of the Bigfoots, in the museum that I saw when I was in Oregon. But because of all of this, I was able and very humble to be able to start my own network. So this is a podcast network called Simply Spooky Network, where I a show, and there are lots of shows on that network that come from all over the world. So I've been really lucky that I've met so many great people by way of guests on the Simply Spooky network. And I must talk about my own show. My own show is called The Spooky Show, with Viv and Dan, and now with Jonathan Downs. And we cover every genre. Nothing is safe when it comes to our shows. So from cryptids to ghosts to UFOs, aliens, you name it, we will talk about it. But that's every Wednesday on the Simply Spooky network. I do have some people that I look up to and I have to thank. And one of my mentors here is William Becker from Oregon. He works with Metaphysical Insights, and he's a great medium and a great teacher. And I've learned a lot from this man. And I know that I wouldn't be doing what I do if it wasn't for him and his guidance. So if you get a chance, look him up. His name is William Becker, and he's part of Metaphysical Insights. Another guy, a lot of people won't recognise him by this picture, but this is the late, great Norman Fahey, and he is an archaeologist, and he was the curator for Castle Rising in Norfolk, and through his archaeological teachings, he also taught me very much, and that also ties into the paranormal side of things. You do have to know your history. There he is, there's Uncle Norm there. He taught me all about architecture, but not only that, he went into some other pagan bits and pieces with me as well. So I have to thank this man. He meant a lot to me, and I still refer back to his teachings in today's walk of life, you know. And last but not least, there's one man I have to thank, and here he is there. If you don't know who this is Dan Winter, one of my closest friends and paranormal brother that I get up to shenanigans with. And I must mention Striking Midnight, which is our little project that we have together. I can't really say much more about him than that, really. He's just a paranormal investigator like me. I hope you like this talk. Let's get on with the rest of it. I've got a Well, that's explained a little bit about who I am, and so I thought that would stop me having to go through that spiel in a talk with you. What I do want to talk to you about is the different types of ghosts and hauntings. There are many. I've been investigating a long time. Put it this way, more than 30 years. And through my experiences and adventures and everything I've got up to, I realised there are a lot of types of hauntings. So in my team, and what we set out to do, is one, see what type of haunting it is, see if we can capture it, see if we can prove it, and then go back to the client and give them the reports and give them what we get, which I think is very important. We don't just go there just to investigate, it's all research to us. And we have members of the team, and me especially, we go into these places to prove they are not haunted. That is what we do. And people say, come here, this is a haunted building. For us, we go there with the mindset that actually it's not haunted. And if we do get it,
owners. And then I spring into action and we have to try and explain to the owners, this is what's going on in the house or wherever, place of work. It's amazing. So let me get on with this. Okay, so as I explained, there are many types of hauntings, so I've literally just picked 10, because otherwise I think we'll be here all afternoon and it's not fair on you guys, you get bored. A residual haunting. Have you all heard of a residual haunting? Hands up, I want people to, yeah. Do you actually know what a residual haunting is? You do, I know you do. I'm not asking you. So, a residual haunting is basically a replay of events. So something quite dramatic happens, like a murder. That murdered person could come back, not the person itself, but the, how can I explain it better? The energy is blasted into the atmosphere. And it's the atmosphere, or the fabric of the building that will replay events. So the person has not actually come back. The building or the place is talking to you and replaying certain events. There are conductors involved in this. So we have limestone. Crystals, they say quartz is a big conductor, and this is one of the major features of why replays actually happen. Some of the buildings that we've been to have had quartz embedded in the stonework. And last but not least, water. There's a nice picture of Richmond Bridge there. I love Richmond. Let's talk about Anne Boleyn. This is a very good example of a residual haunting. She said to haunt, now I better get these in the wrong order. I think that's Haver Castle. No, that's Tower of London. Haver Castle, where she grew up. Hampton Court Palace, where she was with her husband. And the Tower of London, where she was executed. How can one person be in the same place, in all these different places at once? That's because it is a residual haunting. She's not actually there. So, that I thought was a great example to explain to you about residual hauntings. She actually had something horrific happen to her in the Tower of London, so we think it'd be there that she haunts. Who knows where her actual place of haunting is, but she seems to be going to a lot of places. There's got to be residual. Here's my favourite. Poltergeist activity. Anybody know what a poltergeist is? Thank you. Energy. It's not a ghost. This is a big mistake that people have been making. For a long time, all us ghost hunters and people of the paranormal believe this to be a ghost that did this. But it actually isn't. It is energy produced by the living that causes poltergeist activity. I come across this in somebody's house to find out it was a little boy that was causing it. That was very much alive. So, yeah. Chairs moving, that sort of thing. Yeah, that's what poltergeist activity is. Things that get thrown. Intelligent or interactive hauntings. This is my favourite. So, intelligent and interactive hauntings do happen. When you get a very good, intelligent haunting that wants to interact with you, it is pure gold. I mean, a lot of ghost hunters and people in the paranormal that go to these events and things want to capture a photograph of a ghost. For me personally, if you've got an intelligent haunting that's actually communicating with you, that in itself is pure gold. And you need to be listening to what they're telling you. Sometimes it is just amazing. That's just to depict an intelligent haunting. It's quite sad, actually. This one, I think this is more American than anything else. Shadow man, shadow people, shadow woman, hag woman. They're just energy, it's spirits, it's nothing demonic, it's nothing evil. I've been really lucky to see the Hat Man in England. They do exist. They're there, they're very fleeting, corner of the eye stuff. It's nothing to be scared of. I say that. Spirit can hurt you, believe me. But those, honestly, because people don't understand what it is, they're far too quick to jump on to say it's evil and demonic. Take your time, do your research, find out what this is, and leave Zach Bagans on the television. Not everything is a demon, trust me.
It's the spirits. It's the Hat Man.
We got up. That's it. Thank you. So this is the Galleries of Justice in Nottingham, now renamed to the National Justice Museum, where I took DJ earlier this week and we had a blast in there. But this is the main courtroom where people were condemned and put in cells and everything nice and spooky. But a shadow person is frequently seen running around in this cell room. Nobody knows why, nobody knows how, you can't catch it, there's no reason for it to be there, but it's there. But if you ever end up in Nottingham, please go there, go and have a look, go and sit in this big courtroom. And you never know, you might be lucky to see this shadow man, and he runs, he's fast, really fast. My favourite, inanimate objects that come back. Ghost ships, Mary Celeste, my favourite, Sutton Hoo. In Sutton Hoo, if you don't know what Sutton Hoo's about, you've got Netflix, shame on you. They found a Viking ship with its king buried in there and all his gold and treasures. But every year, apparently, the ship itself reanimates and you can see the whole ship at Sutton Hoo. It happens once a year. I've not been lucky enough to see it, but you never know. Somebody might see it soon, report it. You might hear about Sutton Hoo and the ship reanimating. But that story at Sutton Hoo is absolutely amazing. It's Viking, it's old, and it's coming back. There it is there. Animal manifestations. When we lose our dog that we've had for 14 years in our family, and we have to say goodbye, and we do the awful thing that we have to do, and then a few days later, the dog's back in your house. I think this is the one that I can say comes back out of love, and you feel that love, and you see that love. Some people can't handle it. Other people's pets come back to your home for some strange reason. Maybe because they once lived there, or they just like you know. But this one is quite endearing. Like this one. Let me go back. I press it really quickly. Doppelganger. We'll go to doppelgangers. Right, doppelgangers. I've had an experience, well, I didn't, my mother did, of the doppelganger phenomenon. And People think this is nonsense, this is just Hollywood. Honestly, this does happen. And my poor mother, she saw me. I was about 14 at the time, outside this pub when I should have been somewhere else. And she was calling me and calling me and calling me. And you think her mother would know her own child? I turned around, looked at her, carried on, and just completely ignored her. I was in a shop a few doors down, and I came out of that shop, and she saw me. Haven't you been in there and there at the same time? Because I got scolded and, 2 months later, my gran was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer and was given 24 hours to live. She beat those 24 hours and was given another 2. But the doppelganger phenomena, the harbinger of something deadly coming to you, it just, when my mum and me sort of put it all together, we couldn't believe what was going on. So if you do see, or somebody sees your doppelganger, you know something's coming. But that's what happened to me. Oh, I was supposed to be outside that pub, I was nowhere near it. Okay, here's a favourite one. Possession. Possession doesn't.
Sorry.
Oh, what we're doing now.
Bad walk I do. But, sorry, can I just ask anyone that's booked in for the behind the scenes RPG?
It's not all just Hollywood. The Exorcist. Based on a true story. It happened to a little boy. This poor little lady. This is actual photographs of her. Her name is Annalise, and she's not in this country, but she was possessed, and she never recovered from it, and she subsequently passed away. Now, I've actually seen somebody who is possessed, not mediumship possessed, not, I was in India with my father, I'm half Indian, and I was in India with my father, and we saw a boy in the street having these convulsions. He actually stopped as I was walking past with my father and looked at us, watched me walk past like that, and then went straight back into convulsions. There were 10 men trying to hold him down, and they couldn't. It was the most frightening thing I've ever seen. I don't know what happened to that boy. I never looked into it, I just left it alone because I just think something like that, I wouldn't want happening to me. So if something doesn't feel right, go and find out and seek help straight away. Don't wait. She is poor little Annalise. Okay. Demonic activity or demons. How many people believe that demons exist? Not many. They do. Honestly, they really do. They're very rare. You're very not likely to see it. But I want to show you this. This is the Temple of Beelzebub that is in Syria, or was in Syria until it got bombed by ISIS. Beelzebub was celebrated in Syria, and it was a god of good, flowers, fertility, all that sort of thing. There it is there. It was a ruin. But again, because we don't understand something, we give this the demon title, which I think is completely unfair. Now I come to my last one, which is alien or cryptid. Now, can aliens haunt you? Yes, they can. Can cryptids haunt you? Yes, they can. You can have an experience. I mean, I've spoken to people that have had up and close encounters with cryptids like Bigfoot, Dogman, and that has stayed with them. They had this one experience 10 years ago, and they're still having nightmares, dreams, and the rest of it to this day. So I find that quite fascinating as a ghost hunter and as a medium. Was the cryptid trying to tell this person something? Was the alien that entered that man's bedroom trying to tell him something? something? I don't know. I think the research still continues, and whatever way you want to research is there's no right way or wrong way is what I'm trying to tell you. Just be careful and look after yourself and use common sense, whether it's cryptid hunting, looking for UFOs and aliens, or ghosts. It doesn't matter. You just got to enjoy what you do. If you get that passionate spark inside you, you're definitely going to get some results. So, you ready to see some ghosts?
Yeah.
I've got some photographs of some ghosts that were taken by members of my team and some by me. Now, I don't know how well you're going to see this. I'm going to have to explain it to you. So you'll see the dark figure in the background. That is my friend. The one in front of, with the long cloak. Can you see that? It's not very easy, I don't think. It's got a long cloak and it's got like the half cloak thing on top of it, a bit like somebody who would be of the Victorian era, driving a handsome cab. I don't know what he was doing inside that building, because that's an old courtroom. There. You see him? This one is part of the private haunting that went on for 2.5 years. It was quite extreme. And she was explaining that she was seeing people that manifested at the bottom of her garden and walked down the side of her house. And we just thought, oh, she's mad, you know. Until we took this photograph. Now, the big splodge in the middle is camera flash, it's camera flare that's bouncing off a bush. It's the bit at the back where you can see a couple of people. In the next photograph, which was seconds later, you saw many people. And they came and walked right past her house. That was taken with an infrared camera. This one is in the same house. And this was taken in the loft. We were sitting there complaining, well, I could smell what I thought was horse manure. And I was oofied, you know, that sort of thing. And my friend and my colleague Neri took this photograph. We turned it sepia. All we did was turned it sepia so we could see it better. And what you can see there is a horse and a knight with his helmet on. Can you see him? And you can also see another layer, a man with his head tilted like this, wearing a tweed coat. Now, from a man in a tweed coat to a horse and the knight, what do you think is more scary? You would have thought the knight and the horse, yeah? No, the man in the tweed coat, he pulled me out of bed on my elbow a couple of nights later, and it is the most frightening experience I have ever had in my life. Okay, don't hate those paranormal investigators in here, but I was one of the teams that was able to go and investigate the Tower of London. They don't allow paranormal teams to go in there. And this was taken on a walkway, actually in the tower. And we believe there's two of us that took these photographs. I've only got a few. And this is a man, a knight, standing on a walkway garden. If you look closely, you can see that his head's bent and he's got a ruff around his neck. There he is then. I hate it when they zoom in and put these red circles around because it distorts the pictures, but to make it more obvious for you guys, just put this in. So that's it, that's ghosts. But if you are into your ghosts and you want to see and learn more, I have a 20-minute interaction by telephone with a ghost that I will show you my experience. So I hope you can come if you're interested. I'd love to see you. Any questions?
think we should have a round of applause first. I love that. It's me goosebumps. Here we go. Any questions? I saw a few hands go up. Okay. Let's go over here. Try not to go up. Right, here we go.
Hiya.
Hello.
What do you think ghosts actually are when we boil it down? Do you think they're just energy?
Yes.
But where do you think that energy comes from?
From us.
From
We
us.
are the energy because when you think about it and you look at it scientifically, we're all water and in our brains in here, we have electricity that runs through this. It doesn't just stop when we pass over. So from a mediumship point of view, I believe when we pass, our energy goes, we can sometimes get collected. We go to heaven, the other dimension, whatever you want to call it. We get taken by a member of our family or one of our loved ones. So that energy's got to go somewhere. It's going there. It's going home.
So what do you think of a theory I heard that ghosts, paranormal experiences, etc., we actually create them because we externalize energy somehow and they then appear as ghosts, aliens, etc.
I've been talking to a lot of people, scientists and all sorts, and I'm coming up with new theories personally myself. When it comes to us manifesting things, yes, I do believe that that can happen, and we can manifest a ghost. We go out looking ghost hunting, we could manifest a ghost. We've done experiments with infrasound. We've told people this place is haunted, we've got public in, played infrasound, and oh, they've seen all sorts. And they've had scratches, and that was just for an experiment. But when we put people in rooms that weren't haunted without the infrasound, they were manifesting stuff as a group. This group manifestation thing, I totally believe that. Rendlesham Forest is one that I believe that the children were taken with special gifts and manifested this UFO landing. That's a military thing. I've heard about that, but I believe it could happen.
And when you think of experiences like the Enfield poltergeist, for instance, that's a very obvious example of somebody manifesting energy outside their body and using it to manipulate objects.
Yes and no. I do believe certain parts and things that happened with Enfield did happen, but there were other parts that were totally exaggerated. So I think it's a mixture of both. But that poor little girl, Janet, who's now grown up, well, what happened there was a form of trance mediumship, but to a degree where it was out of control. She was a child,
So she was a natural medium.
I believe so. I believe so. These parents that push their children to do things like that at a young age, shame on you, because we do need our childhoods. It's horrible, absolutely horrible. I went through it.
And when you were talking about the case of Annalise Michaels earlier on, there was a film made about her experience.
Yeah.
That she was, I can't remember the title of it, but she was called Emily Rose in the film.
Oh, the haunting of Emily
Yeah.
Rose, yeah. It does happen. People think it doesn't happen, it's just Hollywood. No, they really can hurt you.
Love that film. Anyone else? Right, I don't want to strangle anyone in it. Let's go. Hang on a second. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
I just wanted to ask why the ghosts show themselves to one person and not another. So why is it, for instance, I had a friend who lived in a building where she would ask her friend to say, can you take me up to my room? She was in the attic room and she would see this little boy on the stairs, but she couldn't see him, but she said, no, he's there. So why is it when she doesn't want to see him and she's not a believer, why is he showing himself? He would sit there crying. Why would he show himself to her and not my friend? Because she says, I can't see anything.
Okay,
So,
that's a good question. Some people put up blocks, like energetic blocks. I believe everyone can see, hear and feel spirit if they wanted to. But society puts up what I call breeze blocks, like block it out, doesn't exist. You know, or the skeptic in them comes out, I don't want to believe in this, it's all rubbish, you know. But some people, their energy is to the point already, they can see, hear and feel. So that little person most probably could see, hear and feel. But somebody else, it won't come to them because maybe there is a blockage, there is something there that's stopping them from seeing. It's not their fault, it's natural, it happens, you know. Some people see more readily, some don't. Ghost hunters, the more you go ghost hunting, as a skeptic, I don't see anything. I don't believe in that. I will see, hear, or feel something that will give them all. But there must be a rational explanation, and they'll just poo-poo it, you know. So again, like with my friend Dan, he's as psychic as a brick. Doesn't see, feel, or anything. But yet when we're together, he sees loads to the point where he's actually frightened. He doesn't scream when he thinks he's excellent. Come over here and touch me. He's like, no, leave them over there, you know. But yeah, I just feel that sometimes there are blockages, which is why some people see and some people don't.
Great. Anyone else at the front?
I'm saving the best till last at the back.
Sorry, you say ghosts are an energy. What would they not be people who have just died and gone dead and then come back to see their loved ones, or?
Yeah, they can do. And you know this stone tape theory thing? Don't believe it. Do not believe it. It's rubbish. They say, why don't you see ghosts of dinosaurs or cavemen? Well, one of my team members, he lives in Essex and he went fishing, night fishing with all of his friends. It was a little island in the middle of the lake. And 6 people sat there, and these guys weren't even into paranormal, they were just there for fishing. And watched men come out of this little hole on the island, do something weird. There were actual, they described as cavemen. Do this, whatever it was they were doing, then they went back into the hole and disappeared. Now, if the stone tape theory is correct, they shouldn't exist, but they do. So when people say to you, oh, we've read about the stone tape theory, it's this. Actually, see behind the blinkers, because there's more going on there. There's energy, there's replay, there's all sorts, and people choose to come back. You know, the energy's gone away, but they want to come back and let you know that, hey, I'm okay, I'm on the other side, I'm having a great time, I've got Uncle Harry with me here. You know, we've had our parties, I've met up with Aunt Sally, and you know, it's just really for you. They give you those messages to make you feel okay. It's not because they need to come back, it's because they want to. Does that answer that question?
Yeah, it did. Sorry, I have one more question, that's okay.
Go on then.
So you say also poltergeists and bad spirits, they chuck things at you and stuff like that, but you said it's energy.
Yes.
How can things just be chucked at you?
Okay, let me explain something. If you're going through a bad time and you don't know how to deal with it, you have pent up energy. It could be anger, it could be aggression, it could be frustration, it could be anything. Over a period of time, that energy is building and building and building in and around you. And that has to be released. You hear of some women that go out the car park and Tesco's and just scream. They're releasing their pent up energy, anger and frustrations. Some people can't do that. So that energy's got to go somewhere. It gets blasted out into the wherever you're living, whatever you're doing, and then strange things might start happening, like chairs move, coats get thrown. I've even heard of knives. It's been awful. In the case of Tutbury Castle's a good one. They went to open up one of their kitchens, were having a wedding, laid all the table and everything. They came back in the morning on top of one another on the table. It was amazing.
I've got a question about time slips.
Oh, yes.
Got any cases or opinions on that, Russell?
I've actually experienced a time slip with that man over there who was a skeptic, right? So we hosted or co-hosted an event at Langard Fort in Essex. And I said, we had an hour before the guests arrived. We set up everything. We said, right, we're just going to go for a walk around so we know where everything is. We were gone for about 2.5 hours. We thought we'd only gone for 10 minutes. There was 4 of us that had that. I mean, as far as we were concerned, we just went and looked at a few little rooms and came straight back. Apparently, 2.5 hours gone that we can't account for. Was it a time slip? Don't know. Unless their watches were wrong, but how can, I mean, one person with the wrong time on their watch, I can understand that. But there were many of us there that had the same time, so it's just a weird phenomenon that I can't explain. I don't know how those 2.5 hours. We didn't go anywhere. We didn't see anything exciting. We didn't meet anyone. We just gone for 10 minutes.
Just to add to the back of that one, what about time slips when people go into an old pub appears or a house appears the way it was hundreds of years ago? Are people stepping into that realm, or is that energy just for them?
Would that be the inanimate objects coming back again, and you're actually being part of it and going into it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've not experienced it. I've heard people in Scotland that have the time slips around one of the castles where they actually see people walking around in regalia and milling around, and they thought that they were reenactors, and they weren't. I don't know. I mean, I've not really looked into it more fully. I mean, I had that 2.5 hour thing and thought, oh, I don't want to bring up, just left it. but they were like scratching their heads, and some of my team that were with me, they just can't explain it.
Thank you.
That's all right.
Right, should we do a couple more, and then again you can stretch your legs before our next spout. This gentleman's just come down, and I'll come to you. It'll be our final one. But again, all our lovely guests are here today. If you've got any other burning questions.
Hi, regarding the stone tape theory, which is something I'm interested in, although I recently found out that someone alluded to the fact that it actually was just a scripted play back in the 70s. Can you explain that?
No, but I blame Richard Felix because, good old Richard, he was supposed to have been in part of my experience and he pulled out, but he wrote books on it and it gained momentum and people were taking this stone tape theory thing and running with it. And they were throwing things at it like, well, you don't see ghosts of dinosaurs, why is that? They walk this earth. So hang on, we've got cavemen. What do you mean? And it's like, for God's sake, don't tell anyone because I built my career on this. You get a lot of that, which I think is a bit of a silly thing to do. It's good to have your own theories, but if somebody's come along and smashed that theory, I mean, he wanted to go to the private lake and see his caveman. We deliberately told we've kept it quiet. No, don't tell anyone. Because you don't want that poor landowner with hundreds and hundreds of people just trampling his land and spoiling it. It's there for the fishing, really. I firmly believe if you go out looking for something, you will eventually find it. You're not going out looking for cavemen, and you're not going out looking for dinosaurs, therefore you're not going to see them. They were lucky. I'd love to go out looking for cavemen, and hopefully one day I might find one. But it's the same like with the Bigfoot. You go out in the forest and you're not looking for it. Are you likely to find one? If you're going out there looking for it, you're more likely to see one. I don't know. It's just a weird scenario, but I don't like the stone theory. I don't agree with it. I think it's a load of rubbish, personally, but each to their own, I suppose. There's no right or wrong.
Hi.
That's
This is
a
a question. You know when somebody's passed over and then they come back to you in a dream?
Yeah.
Do you believe that's the spirit coming back to tell you something?
Yes.
Because I've had it quite a few times.
Are you listening to what they're saying?
Yeah.
Good.
But it's always been like a positive thing. Like, is that just me dreaming it, hoping that's true, or do you think that's them coming back to tell me what I think I need to hear?
Yes, definitely the latter. They're coming back to tell you something. They're coming back to let you know, to confirm. But you also, there's life that's in you. There's healing that happens in dreams. So when you need things like psychic surgery and psychic healing, and you're not going to churches, the dream state is ideal for them because you're not going to interfere, wake up and go, oh, what's this about, you know? You're just going to receive it and feel better in the morning. But also, what is very important, and we should be aware of, is sleep paralysis. And people say that they get haunted by this person that comes into their room and sits on their chest and tries to rape them and do all sorts of weird shit. It's not, it's sleep paralysis. It's where, right, I'm going to get it the wrong way around, but there are two kinds. But one, when your body wakes up before your brain, or your brain wakes up before your body. So it's you that's manifesting or seeing this stuff that's not really there. And then you get the heaviness on your chest. When you think something's on you, it's not, it's your body trying to wake up. So yeah, sleep paralysis is also something that people are really, really scared of, believe that they're being haunted or being attacked, and really it's not. It's you that's doing it. But that dream state thing that you were talking about,
Never had the other thing. It's been on
yeah,
the dream,
that
and they've always come back and said that I'm okay, you know, like, why are you here?
is very special. It's very special and very powerful if you get something like that, especially if like mum or dad's passed over and one of them's coming in to talk to you and tell you stuff because you're not listening. They're trying to come back and show you and show themselves and tell you you're not listening. So the best way to do it is through your dream state. Yeah. Can we go one more? We got time? One more.
It was just very, very strange. So I think that it's not just the brain.
No.
I think that's
the
scientific expression doesn't work.
The out of body is really, really special. If you can do out of body and you can go and you can master traveling, yeah.
But they only have by accident, usually after fasting, so 5 days of no food. And then
Oh, I'm going to try that.
but also, another thing, the stone tape theory is interesting because maybe dinosaurs and then cavemen aren't the real history. I think that's what I'm going to see. There's a lot of people who are really disputing dinosaurs now. There's only two guys that got the dinosaur theory, very elite sort of intellectuals. No one's allowed to see the bones, they're all plastic in the museums and they're down in the basement, only experts are allowed to go in here. And there's a whole load of factories in China churning out dinosaur bones in museums, using crushed bones and resin. So you think, maybe that's why Lana goes to those. Perhaps they actually exist.
No. Honestly, some of these conspiracy theories just take it to a level that's too much. I've actually picked up.
They actually exist. It's easier to prove something exists than it doesn't.
When you've gone to a beach and picked them up off the beach yourself and held that bone in your hand, then you think differently. And I think that's right with paranormal and even mediumship. Unless you see, hear or feel for yourself, never stop searching, never stop asking questions. No question is ever wrong. And if somebody says, oh, you're, you know,
That's just someone asking questions.
yeah, no, exactly. It's good questions as well. Yeah, just keep going, keep asking, keep searching, and don't stop. And if you're passionate enough about it, you'll get the answers 100% for yourself by your own work and with your own research. But yeah, that's it.
I didn't even have to ask for applause. I love that. Well done. Thank you so much. We can sing a song, but time is pressing. Vivian, thank you so much, darling. She is around, so again, if you want to sort of